Hi, I'm Linda. Welcome to my channel, Linda's Mysteries. Today we're going to dive into a very interesting topic that I've been consulted about numerous times. And many people actually associate me with that as well. It's the idea that somebody can predict future or simply notice some things before they happen, sorta maybe do it with cards, but often without any tools. Just knowing something before it happens, or being aware of something that happens so many kilometers away and sometimes even the other side of the world, to people that we might care about without actually receiving the information yet, just literally feeling it in some way. So often it is a topic that in regular, normal life can seem very scary, whilst in the fields of parapsychology or simply spirituality can seem very open and normal, depending on your circle and bubbles. So we're gonna dive into the idea of clairvoyance. And it also includes the possibilities of other clairnesses. I especially strongly emphasize this word clair because clairvoyant, coming from French as a word, means being able to see clearly. So it literally is speaking about clarity. Of course, nowadays we associate this with being able to sort of predict something, to know something without getting the information otherwise. But when we're looking at the scientific field, it's actually not been sort of accepted at the moment. And yet I know that there are many people who feel these moments, who've experienced these moments, and even, scientists themselves sometimes. But we don't really know why it happens. We don't really understand if it truly is possible to be able to know something at the same time whilst not have received the information elsewhere yet. What am I talking about here? If you're looking at this video, there are chances that maybe you have experienced a moment like this, or perhaps you have somebody who has, or simply you're curious to know about it. But I am here to tell you that I find it to be a normal thing, and I think everybody is capable of these moments. I don't think you have to be a special person or soul or whatever to be able to sort of predict something. And here I'm not talking about, winning lotteries or things like that. In fact, I actually don't believe that people are able to predict outcomes with tarot card readings. I think we are actually making our futures. In this video to make sure that in case you are a person who experiences moments like this, that you know that you actually have a choice. You have options how to either express this talent or perhaps change it. I am telling you about this because I know that in many cases these moments might actually be overwhelming. Sometimes they're very sort of like coming through the body, and it can be that it really influences your day out of nowhere. Let me share a little story of my own experience. So multiple years ago, probably more than 5 years ago, even more, I was really close to a person who was not living in the same country as I was. I think distance was more than 3,000 kilometers away from me, and it was actually New Year's, which is amazing, really fun day to celebrate, right? I was out with my friends having the super cool party together with people that were making such a beautiful experience for all of us, and we were going to see the fireworks in my own hometown. Everything's safe, everything's beautiful, everything's nice. Everybody around me is, happy, I'm happy. And yet I felt this strong dawning emotion of like stress and fear and confusion and not really understanding where it was from. So because I tend to be very intuitive, and back then I really associated myself with being very sensitive, I immediately asked myself, like, where is this coming from? Why do I feel this way? Although it's super illogical to feel like this. And my inner answer was the connection to the person. So I was, okay, let me, text the person and get to know what's happening. And turned out later on that actually where the person was located and also celebrating New Year's, not specifically in his location, but in the city, they actually had bombings not far from them, and they were experiencing collectively as a group with his friends a moment, of the fear, of the confusion, of the not understanding what to do next. Sort of the same emotions that I was going through. I can't say if I was predicting it or if I was feeling something simultaneously as a person or not. I don't know. I don't know how to explain these things, but I know that I had a choice, which I really learned later in my life. And the choice is whether I allow myself to feel so sensitively, so deeply at any point from anyone or not. And this is the freedom that you actually have. So perhaps you have a close friend who experiences these moments, or maybe you yourself have it. And maybe it's a loved one who goes through moments like this. Let them know that they actually have a choice within themselves, and it has to be a very deep, clear choice, whether they want to be as open to everything all the time or perhaps not. So my message for you is that, first of all, you're not crazy. If you experience these moments, you are not crazy. And honestly, that's one of the first thoughts that I always experienced when I had these moments. I was like, okay, tomorrow I might be locked in some, crazy house because of this. Who knows? And yet later on in life, I discovered that simply I can be very open with people, especially in my work as a tarot reader. I'm really, this is one of the reasons why I'm so great at it, because I am able to be so open that I can work with somebody and open up no matter if they are in the same room with me or not. We can be thousands of kilometers away and I will still get very deep connection. So for me, it turned out to be a talent that I am using in my work field right now. And I also know and realized at some point, and really made sure that my inner choice was that, hey, I am not open to this sort of sensitivity all the time. I made a choice that I'm open to it at times when I choose it, like my work. But when I want to be on my own, experience my own world, my own energy, everything, I mostly choose not to be so open, and that is okay. And by saying this, I actually know many people that actually choose to be open all the time. They know that they are choosing that path, and they do always mention that there are ups and downs, which also we will experience anyway, because we do have emotions as humans and they always will have these ups and downs. So it's a similar experience. It's just these moments sometimes can be further than that. Like it can be quite physical for some, or mental. So I wanted to give you the understanding that it is a choice and that you can make it. You are not crazy, and you can do something about it if you feel like it. And it doesn't mean that you have to numb it. This is not about that. This is more about just choosing how you want to actually use the natural talents and gifts that you already have. And often the chances are, if you are able to sense that deeply, if you can connect to somebody that strongly, then you are talented in the ways of communication. You are capable of working with people so deeply that this is actually a gift that you own. And once you find a way how to perhaps have it in your daily life as a norm, in the way you're giving to the world, it might actually balance itself out a lot more. What I mean by that is that I also, when I was very unaware, unconscious of these moments, they just came to me. But now I realized that they were very pivotal moments for me often to realize how strongly capable I am in some ways. And now I get to use them in a way that is really loving and caring for me and the humans around me and my clients and everybody, where I can actually share something as a gift to the world rather than some sort of a curse on me. So now that I'm giving it as a gift, that's how I transformed it, and I can be more balanced by sharing this to the world, and thus the world can give back to me in a beautiful, loving way. So I really hope that this inspired you to dive deeper into this topic. Perhaps you want to research more about the terms like clairvoyance, clairsentience, blah, blah, blah. Or maybe you just want to, change it completely and really start to listen to that part of yourself. Because sometimes also these things come up when your intuition is just becoming quite strong. And I do notice it a lot with my tarot students, because mostly when I'm teaching tarot, I'm doing it through intuitive activities. And I can see that over time, they actually will start to become more open to receiving information as such. So actually, it can be a skill that we can develop. At least that's how I see it. I don't know if there's scientific evidence to that, but I do know that from emotional intelligence, we are capable of improving our communication. So perhaps there's a link, maybe not, we'll see. And yeah, another part is to understand that if you feel sort of alone in this, you are fully welcome to share with me your experiences, but you can also find others who are open to this sort of information, and perhaps that makes you feel a lot better. I am not saying find a mentor to teach you this or that, unless you really feel intuitively guided to, but be aware that if you are a sensitive sort of a person, or at least you identify as being sensitive, because that's a part of it, there's a big chance that you actually know all the answers, that you intuitively know how to do things for yourself. It's just, it might be a bit tricky sometimes to fully be clear about it, which is a weird paradox, right? You might be able to clearly see things for others, and sometimes it's trickier for yourself. That's part of the learning the muscle, adapting it, and developing the skill of communication inside of you, not just outside of you, okay? So I really hope that this video, although quite scattered in many ways, is actually helpful, and perhaps you will find a community here with people also experiencing similar things. And I really, really hope that your case, you understand that it doesn't have to be anything bad. You don't have to be seen as a woo-woo or crazy or whatever. You just follow your path, and that will take you to a place of love and peace, if you wish for it. Okay, I'm very glad that you are here, and yeah, let me know how this topic was for you. Maybe you are actually intrigued in some more topics, or maybe shall I dive deeper into this one? Either way, I'm glad you were watching this video. This is my channel meant for your most blissful growth, and I will see you next time. Ciao.